There have been many great sultans that have graced the glorious Ottoman Empire, but today we will be talking about the top 10 greatest. Unlike the Roman Empire, plagued with a myriad of stinky emperors, the Ottoman Empire boasted a lineup of remarkable leaders. Join me as we explore the exceptional criteria that defines the greatness of these sultans. As we go through each sultan, we will first talk about their political agenda and how good of a statesman they actually were, because being a politician respected by your peers was the first great quality many Ottomans looked for in their sultans. Second, we will talk about their military career, as the military was a highly valued part of the Ottoman Empire. Lastly, we will talk about how ultimately effective their administration was, and how huge of an impact they left after they died that resonates through the corridors of the rest of Ottoman history. So keep your eyes glued to your screens as we unveil the top 10 greatest sultans of the Ottoman Empire. Starting off our list at number 10, meet Osman I, the inaugural Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Despite limited details about his early life, historians agree that Osman emerged from the Turkic Kayi tribe. His father, Ertuğrul, leader of the Kayi tribe, was granted the governorship of Sogit by Alaaddin Kakubad III, who was the Seljuk Sultan of Rum. Osman would go on to show adept statesmanship, uniting the Seljuk Turks after the exile of Sultan Alaaddin Kakubad III and other various Anatolian Muslim tribes through diplomacy and military prowess. Expanding his beylik into a multicultural empire, Osman instituted reforms blending Seljuk, Byzantine, and Islamic political cultures. A skilled military strategist, Osman's conquests included Yenisehir, Inagol, Bilisik, and Byzantine territories. The pivotal Battle of Beyfis in 1302 secured a significant advantage for the Ottoman beylik, propelling further territorial gains. Osman's strategic expansion reached the Sea of Marmara and the Sakarya River by 1308. His final military engagement was the Siege of Bursa, although he would pass away during the siege in 1323 or 1324. Despite not really participating in the siege, his son Orhan successfully conquered Bursa, becoming the new capital of the Ottoman beylik. Osman's administrative legacy laid the groundwork for the Ottoman Empire's eastward expansion into Islamic territories, and also westward into Byzantine lands. While his reign is shrouded in myth, Osman's enduring impact fueled the growing pride of the Ottoman Empire. At number 9 on our list is Mehrdad IV, whose early reign was infested by numerous challenges. Initially a puppet to his mother Kosem, Mehrdad faced many challenges, such as a devastating plague in Istanbul claiming 1,000 lives daily, and a destructive fire in the Sabali neighborhood, obliterating 1/5 of the area. Despite these setbacks, Mehrdad emerged as a capable statesman, reclaiming his authority from being a puppet and instituting strict bans on alcohol, tobacco, and coffee, with violators facing execution. His extremely great military prowess was seen most notably by the conflict against the Safavid Empire, who was a persistent adversary to the Ottomans since 1514. Mehrdad secured victories capturing key towns like Hamadan and Tabriz, culminating in the conquest of Baghdad in 1638. His legacy endures through impactful laws and regulations, and the successful expansion into Safavid territory strengthened Ottoman influence in the Middle East for years to come. At the prestigious 8th spot on our list is Mehrdad I, the son of Orhan I, and a stellar leader in the Ottoman Empire. rising to the throne after an unfortunate demise of his elder brother, Suleyman Pasha. Mehrdad showcased remarkable statesmanship, with a primary focus on military policies. His strategic prowess led to a significant Ottoman expansion into Byzantine lands, most notably in Anatolia and the Balkans. Mehrdad's legislative genius shone as bright as stars in a clear night sky, as he smoothly integrated conquered Christian lands into the empire. Renowned as one of the finest Ottoman conquerors, he extended the empire's reach across Anatolia, Europe, and the Balkans, subjugating the Karaman, Albanians, Serbians, Bulgarians, and the Hungarians. He also went on to establish influential vassals, the most notable being the Byzantine Empire. Mehrdad's military career was tarnished only by his unfortunate demise in the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. Despite this setback, his overall military excellence left a huge mark on Ottoman history. His strategic military expansions into Southeast Europe and the Balkans reshaped cultural and religious demographics, securing Ottoman dominance over Christian nations in the region for centuries. Next on our great Ottoman Sultan journey is Mehmed I at our number 7 spot. His early life was really challenging, as the Ottoman Empire was under a civil war called the Ottoman Interregnum, where he went to war with his brothers Suleyman, Isa, and Musa for the throne. Mehmed was a decent statesman, as he was able to rally a big following in the civil wars to come. Also, he is known as the Restorer, which means he saved the Ottoman Sultanate from complete collapse. Though most of Mehmed's reign was more military focused, after 11 years of brutal fighting, Mehmed would win the civil war after claiming victory at the Battle of Kamerlu, defeating Musa's forces in 1413. Yet further internal strife arose, as Mehmed's nephew Orhan would become a contender to the throne as well, so Mehmed blinded him and had him branded as a traitor. In addition to his family disputes, Mehmed confronted a social religious movement led by Sheikh Bedreddin from 1416 to 1420. After a 4-year war against the movement, Mehmed's Grand Vizier Bayezid Pasha captured Bedreddin and hung him in the city of Saris in southeast Europe. Mehmed's enduring legacy lies in his role as the guardian who preserved the Ottoman Empire. After his death, he was hailed as the second founder of the Ottoman Empire for restoring it. He stands among the greats, making his giant mark in Ottoman history. As we progress through our list, we arrive at our number 6, Orhan I. Upon succeeding his father, Osman I, in the early years of his reign, Orhan aimed to share power evenly with his brother, Alaeddin Ali Pasha. His brother refused, however, telling Orhan that their father was the one who gave him sole power over the empire, and would agree only to take shares of wealth from one city, and that city being the capital of the Ottoman Empire at the time, Bursa. Alaeddin would become Orhan's Grand Vizier instead. Orhan was a fantastic statesman, and with the help of his brother, who was also an amazing statesman, completely separated themselves from the Seljuk Beylik. They stopped using the names of the Seljuk rulers during their prayers, and also stopped printing money with their faces on it. Collaborating with his brother and other advisors, they also established a Turkish standing army, and may have played a role in creating the legendary Janissary Corps, although some evidence suggests it was his successor, Mehrdad I, who actually established the first Janissary Corps. A brilliant military leader, Orhan significantly expanded the Ottoman Empire. As mentioned before, he completed the siege of Bursa, making it the official capital in 1321. He then went on to conquer at least half of Anatolia and parts of the Balkans, and achieved notable success against the Byzantines. He exploited Byzantine civil wars in 1341 to 1347 and 1352 to 1357 to gain territorial advantages against them. Like most sultans on this list, his legacy strengthened Ottoman dominance, enhancing their position in Byzantine lands and solidifying rule in Muslim territories of Anatolia, establishing the Ottomans as the wealthiest and most powerful Muslim force in the region. The next great sultan on our list is number 5. Mehrdad II. His early reign was sickened by insurrection after the Byzantine Emperor Manuel II released Mustafa Celebi, Mehrdad's uncle, who thought he could defeat Mehrdad and take the throne as Sultan of the Ottoman Empire in 1421. Though Mustafa started out strong, taking some territories from Mehrdad, this would make him overconfident, as he would try to take territories from him in Anatolia, but most of Mustafa's men betrayed him, and he was forced to run away with Mehrdad's force in hot pursuit, and ended up capturing him and executing him in 1422. Renowned as one of the best statesmen in Ottoman history, Mehrdad II orchestrated a significant economic upswing, fostering trade that enriched the Ottoman economy and fueled his military territorial expansions. Mehrdad was a good military leader. He would make significant gains in the Balkans, having destroyed a fierce Christian coalition during the Battle of Varna in 1444, and would defeat another Christian coalition in the Second Battle of Kosovo in 1448. He also made significant territory expansions throughout Anatolia, annexing the Turkish Anatolian states of Teak, Germanids, Aydinids, and Menteshi. Despite a setback in the failed siege of Constantinople in 1422, Mehrdad's legacy elevated the Ottoman Empire to unprecedented wealth and military strength during his time, providing a strategic advantage for his successors in further expansions across the Balkans and Anatolia. Arriving at our number 4, we have Mahmud II, who was considered the Peter the Great of the Ottoman Empire for his modernization efforts. He gained power by staging a successful coup against his half-brother, Mustafa IV. His early reign suffered from the loss of the Russo-Turkish War of 1806 to 1812, where he gave the Russians the territory of Bessarabia. He showed exceptional statesmanship, creating the Decree of Tanzimat, which meant modernizing the government through various political and social factors. This decree was deeply inspired by the Napoleonic Code and many different forms of Western political beliefs. It is still hotly debated by historians whether or not these reforms were beneficial to non-Muslim people from a social perspective. He also created the Treaty of Balta, which was decent as it improved relations between the Ottomans and Great Britain. But in terms of actual economic growth for the Ottoman Empire, it was a mixed bag. He also addressed other internal issues, as Mahmud would abolish the Janissary Corps due to them being undisciplined and being super corrupt, and would adapt the Ottoman military, making it more modernized to compete against more modernized countries. As for his military career, it was not too stellar, as he would lose the territory of Greece, as they were supported by Great Britain, Russia, and France in their war to be independent from the Ottomans. Mahmud would have to deal with another war with Russia in 1828 to 1829, losing a decent amount of territory from the war. Also, they would lose Algeria to the French in 1830. Though there was at least one successful military campaign during his rule, which was the Ottoman-Saudi War, where the Ottomans successfully conquered Mecca and Medina from the first Saudi state. But Mahmud was not in charge of this campaign. His governor of Egypt, Muhammad Ali Pasha, did most of the work during the war. Despite Mahmud's pivotal reforms contributing to Ottoman modernization, the empire faced internal decay, and while he delayed the inevitable collapse, his political prowess still remains highly commendable. Entering the top 3, we encounter Selim I, at our number 3. His ascension to the Ottoman throne involved a tumultuous conflict with his father, Bayezid II, as the latter had initially designated Selim's older brother, Sezaid Ahmed, as the successor, which deeply angered Selim and caused him to rebel against his father. Selim would win the civil war and banished his father from the empire. Selim was one of the shortest ruling Ottoman sultans, so it is hard to judge how well his statesmanship really was. But he was at least a decent statesman in terms of foreign relations. Most notably, Selim's diplomatic skills were evident in securing amicable relations with the Mughal Empire, who had originally been on bad terms with them after the Ottomans provided weapons to the Mughals' enemies of Bukhara. However, his military career is where he really shines. Selim expanded the Ottoman Empire greatly after defeating the Mamluks and the Safavids and expanding the empire into the Levant and the western coast of the Arabian Peninsula. His conquest of Egypt was probably his most notable military achievement, defeating the last Abbasid Caliph, Al-Mutawakil III. In 1517. Selim's legacy solidified Ottoman dominance in the Middle East for centuries. As one of the last great sultans of the Ottoman Empire, his rule left a huge mark, establishing the Ottomans as a predominant force in the region. Now, as we arrive at our number 2 and number 1 spots on this list, it was really hard to determine who deserved the number 1 spot. As both of these rulers were so good, it was hard to definitively say which one was better. So without further ado, our second spot goes to Suleyman the Magnificent, whose early reign was remarkably smooth. As the well-educated son of Selim I, Suleyman's likable personality, intelligence, and good sense of judgment were widely admired even before his ascent to the throne. The only problem Suleyman faced during the beginning of his reign was that his governor of Damascus, Janberdi al-Ghazali, started a revolt against the Ottoman Empire. But Suleyman put a swift end to this revolt in 1521. Suleyman's statesmanship remains unparalleled through Ottoman history, as he was even given the title lawgiver. He implemented crucial legal reforms to adapt to the rapidly changing empire. He was able to issue a single legal code, all the while not changing the laws of Islam, which was completely out of the realm of his power. This new legal code would levy taxes on trade, produce, mines, animals, imports, and exports. The code extended protection to Jews, outlawing blood libels and granting them more rights. His rule ushered in a golden age of academia and the arts, emphasizing education reforms and patronage. He also had an illustrious military career, as he conquered Belgrade, Rhodes, and the Kingdom of Hungary during his European campaign. He even dealt the Safavids a major blow, conquering most of the Mesopotamia region. He even expanded Ottoman territory all the way into North Africa. His enduring legacy includes laws and reforms that protected Jews for centuries, and his conquest solidified the Ottomans as a formidable military competitor. The peak of Ottoman power was reached under Suleyman, a pinnacle never to be surpassed. Before we unveil our top sultan, we have some other sultans who definitely deserve some honorable mentions. Selecting the number 1 spot proved challenging, as Suleyman the Magnificent could have easily claimed it. But ultimately, Mehmed II takes the prestigious spot. Ascending to the throne at the tender age of 12, Mehmed faced a unique early reign marked by Hungary's crusade against the Ottomans. After they broke a treaty with the Ottomans and began a full-scale invasion of their lands. Even though Mehmed led troops to stop this crusade, his father, Mehrdad II, stepped in and led his armies instead. It is uncertain whether Mehmed asked for his father's help or if it was Mehmed's Grand Vizier, Kandarli Halil Pasha, who asked for Mehrdad's help. Mehrdad had retired from being Sultan in 1444, but ever since the invasion of the Hungarians, Mehmed would hold the position of Sultan, but his dad was the real ruler until his death in 1451. Mehmed would reclaim his power as Sultan and finally prove himself as a worthy leader of the Ottoman people. A proficient statesman, Mehmed instituted more freedoms in religious practices, letting vast swaths of Christians he conquered the freedom to keep practicing their religion. He also reorganized the imperial divan, which were his advisors in his court. He got rid of many advisors in favor of ones that were solely loyal to him, because usually the Sultan's court had aristocrats who were usually at odds with the Sultan, because they usually had different interests than the Sultans. Mehmed was also a patron of the arts, letting many Christian and Muslim artists freely create wonderful pieces in his empire. His most notable achievements, however, come from his prestigious military career, as he was arguably the best general the Ottomans ever had. His crown jewel was the conquest of Constantinople, the city that was considered by many to be unconquerable, as many Ottoman sultans and even Mehmed's father had tried before him, but failed. His genius plan of figuring out that the inlet of rivers that flowed next to the city of Constantinople, called the Golden Horn, had the weakest walls. So he moved his ships onto land, bypassing the Great Sea Chain that protected the Golden Horn by not letting any ships in, and he bombarded the weak walls with cannon fire and took Constantinople in 1453. His other notable conquests include Serbia, Morea, Trebizond, and the submission of Vlad the Impaler of Wallachia. He even had conquests in Bosnia, Moldavia, Albania, and parts of Anatolia. He would even go to war with the Italian city-state of Venice, which lasted 15 years, to which he eventually claimed victory by having them sign a treaty that gave the Ottomans more cities and that Venice would have to fork over tribute to the Ottomans. Mehmed the Conqueror sure did live up to his namesake, conquering the unconquerable city of Constantinople, which would send shockwaves through the Western world for many years after his rule, solidifying Mehmed II as probably the best sultan ever to grace the illustrious Ottoman Empire. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your opinion about this list in the comments section below. Does Mehmed II really deserve to be in the #1 spot? And do some sultans even deserve to be on this list? We have more content coming soon on this channel, so keep your eyes peeled.